Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's JJ again on
It's
the
bad.
side on the side quest. No Dali, I've taken the ship over again. Uh, he should be here. He claims he'll be here. Whether I let him in the show remains to be seen, but you may just have to watch us do it from the sidelines in this little uh, ghost zone. As I said, I'm JJ, and over there, how about you introduce yourself, Taylor?
Yeah, it's Taylor. It's me.
Taylor. Yeah, there you go. See,
I
I
can't
told you it was
believe
Taylor.
you cold opened with "Hi there, ho there."
Hey there, hi there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be. MICKEYMOUSE.
Mm.
That's
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. That's how I start the Disney compendium.
This ain't your well, I guess it is your
It
show, but stop it.
is now. Uh, yeah, so here we are. Not a lot to talk about in terms of news. I guess we'll
No.
just guess we can just dive right into it. Hey, did you hear? Did you hear about the news?
Hmm.
It didn't come up in the Discord at any point,
Okay,
but
I might have missed it then.
yeah, Discord coming to Xbox.
I'm sorry. Who?
There's this little application that you download for your personal computers that lets you chat with other gamers. Now, understand that I know that sounds scary, and it is, but
Yeah, I don't want to talk to them
yeah, but it's very
at,
popular right now. So
at all.
I know.
Why would I
It just,
want to talk to gamers?
yeah. There's only one good Discord, and it's the side questing Discord, which you can join right now and talk to all of us.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
imagine you
beautiful
can
people.
now get onto the one voice channel that we have in the Discord from your Xbox game console.
There you go. You can listen to Taylor watching Zach play some like crazy bullshit
Yeah.
every once in a while in our Discord.
It's like once every 45 days or so.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, there was the story. What was it, a year or two ago, where it was like Microsoft is trying to acquire Discord or something? Wasn't that a
Yeah,
thing?
there was that rumor was floating around,
Yeah,
which I think would have still been a good idea.
yeah, yeah,
uh, it might have been too expensive at the time. Um, I think that if they had picked it up early on, much earlier, and just let it kind of coast until it so that everything else remained exactly the same, right? Which of
yeah.
course like is one of these hypothetical pipe dreams. It doesn't exist. It would never happen that way, of course. But
Of course, yeah,
it would be interesting to see what how it could have gone, because Discord tried to go into the whole subscribe to Discord Nitro and get free game stuff,
yeah,
and fizzled.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
it's gone.
yeah,
So yeah, but anyway, the it was definitely interesting to think about what would have been or could have been. But the other thing is that that's worth noting is that it's more inclusive than what the Discord integration is with PlayStation, which is an activity notification essentially. I don't believe
yeah,
that you can actually join any level of voice or anything like that on the console on PlayStation. But you can on Xbox, but it still sucks. It's not like a client side application. It's more of like technical appearance wizardry where you basically make your console visible as a device to send a video call to, but you have to join that call or audio call, but you have to join that call on another device first. Actually, I think specifically on your phone first, and then you basically connect to the Xbox as an audio device to use. I
yeah.
don't know. It's it's neat. Doesn't sound that great to me to use. But I'm also not the target audience because I'm not going to use it. So I'm more likely to just have the Discord call running on my phone or
Yeah,
something. I don't know, but it's neat.
yeah,
And
it's
the for them to get it before PlayStation is interest. I would say.
yeah, yeah. It's something that I've never will never use. So it's for somebody that's not me.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, I
So
mean, many of the things in video games, and I'm sure that you feel the same way many times, is that many of the things that exist in video games nowadays are things that are for someone else other than
yeah.
me. Excuse me.
Uh, I guess just for me, and me alone, Lego did announce a Atari VCS slash 2600
I am sure that you
system.
will post it and make Dali buy it too, so don't
Oh
worry.
yeah. Oh
You won't
yeah.
be alone.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be great. Yeah. That it actually looks um more entertaining as a Lego set than the NES. It has more going for it. Like
Mm,
the NES is cute and it has the cute little like hidden Mario lo-fi Mario scene hidden in it, but this one has like way more going on. Like it has a little slide out door on it that pops up a 70s like den, like game room, like multiple cartridges, a cartridge rack, and
yeah.
like little scenes from like three different games. Like
If
the
I was gonna get one for the NES, I think at this point I would just look for that Super Mario Brothers 3 diorama one,
yeah.
that had like the level that you could crank through.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the NES. The yeah, the comes with the TV. That has a little, yeah, 1-1 diorama in it that's really cute.
yeah, and at
Uh
that point, I like that's more synonymous with NES for me anyway. So like
yeah.
that's the kit that I would, if I wanted to be like, oh, this is my NES Lego set. That's the one that I would get. But
Uh yeah, so that
it's neat that, I mean, this is clearly a set SKU line for them, and they're gonna. I would expect them to continue to make other ones.
Oh yeah, I mean they announced the Lego Bowser set for Nintendo with a giant Bowser. Those Nintendo like that those game setup things that they have that comes with that you use that weird little electronic Mario with. They just keep pumping out new ones constantly. I'm actually kind of surprised that series has been as sort of ongoing as it has been. Like they did a Luigi set and then they started doing Luigi's Mansion stuff at one point, which is
Yeah, no,
crazy.
of course now I'm on the like website, like scrolling
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
the different ones.
Yeah. And all kinds of blind bags so you can get more enemies for the courses that you make and things, and like it's clearly very very successful for Lego. uh it's a weird thing because it wasn't all that long ago like Nintendo has been notoriously bad in the last like since the Nintendo 64 of like having merchandise outside of Pokemon stuff.
Yeah.
like like there really wasn't a lot of like being able to buy collectibles for Nintendo stuff, but lately they're really starting to cash in on their IPs. So
which
which
is
is
which is weird to think about because they were
yeah.
typically always very good about cashing in on
Yeah.
IPs.
Yeah, because like back in the NES and SNES days, like everything there was, you could, if it was like Mickey Mouse. If it was a product, you could get Mario stamped on it. They had like you could get Super Mario Brothers sodas and toy shaving kits, shampoo, everything, and then that just kind of fizzled out. Like Mario's popularity didn't go away. Nintendo just kind of stopped making stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but now that that keg has been tapped again, and now this Lego shit is going buck wild. So
Oh
eh,
my!
eh,
You did not. You were not harsh enough in correcting me about the fact that I was just describing the NES
yeah,
Lego set and didn't remember.
yeah,
You
yeah,
let
no,
you let me skate by like way too easy.
yeah. Well, yeah. I figured we didn't need to you know waste too much time on that.
You know, so I'm looking at it just like a little closely.
Yeah.
I take issue with the fact that the controller plugin on the Nintendo side is the Wii controller and not the original NES controller style.
It's just the way. It's just the way that like it really is trying to be the Nintendo plug as best as they can. But
Ugh.
uh,
It still disrupts
yeah.
my sensibilities.
Yeah, like it's got the right shape, except they did with these clips instead, so it turns it into looks like a weak thing. But I was
Yeah.
actually surprised that this is actually like to scale. Like this thing is
Yeah,
actually the controller is actually like pretty good to scale.
man.
And the cartridge slot actually like works how a Nintendo cartridge slot works. It's spring loaded, so it's kind of impressive.
I'm I'm never gonna find this thing on sale, am I?
No, God, no Lego shit. No, man. Uh, that's about and who knows? And the second it goes retired,
It's gonna spike.
the price doubles overnight. So, yeah,
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, it's they sell it on Amazon as well.
yeah.
And it's like the prices dip by 4 cents. That's the only time that's the only drop in price that has ever existed.
Like when you see like Target ads with like all toys are on sale, it always has a caveat of
It's always excluding
yeah,
Lego.
does not include Lego sets. Yeah, it's like yeah, okay,
Wow.
cool.
Yo, that's expensive.
Yeah,
Wow. I still, oh man, I want it though.
it's good. It's good. Yeah, but they've been really leaning in the video game sets because they got the
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog set, that Atari set. Um, I mean, obviously they've got all that Minecraft shit.
All
So
these gamers are suckers. Keep pumping
yeah,
them.
we'll just keep pumping out stuff. Uh, it's funny for a company that does nothing but make plastic stuff. They are starting to really focus on like, oh, we're gonna get rid of all of the plastic bags and everything
Hmm.
in the Lego sets. Like they're going totally like
I
to
mean,
try. Yeah,
as yeah, I mean, as unsustainable, you know, quote unquote, unsustainable
yeah,
as the products are, the reality are the Lego bricks are meant to be fully reusable.
yeah. So
So, but the unrecyclable plastic bags that the shit
yeah,
comes in is not.
like as a person that just built a Lego Optimus Prime, you're just like, boy, this is just a lot of garbage plastic that I am just. It is a lot. Uh, so I was
But no,
happy to see like they're like half the bags were paper, like they're
yeah.
pivoting to paper bags. So I was like, okay, this is how it should be. Let's stop talking about Lego and let's start talking about like
No, no,
I am
that's definitely true because like otherwise I will buy this and I
yeah. I guess we could talk about they showed off the Dungeons and Dragons movie. That's kind of gaming, and
yeah.
not video gaming, but a different. I mean, technically video gaming. I
I
mean,
mean,
there's
yeah, I mean there are many
yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons video games.
yeah, and a lot
Uh,
of games that are just directly just ripped off of Dungeons and Dragons. So
I
uh,
don't know. Well, I actually, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. All I did was take in reactions. What was your thoughts?
I don't really have a connection to Dungeons and Dragons, so
Same.
seeing the trailer, it just looked like a fun little fantasy, I guess, heist movie, which works for me. It looked like it was going to be just a fun adventure that wasn't taking itself seriously, and I'm okay with that. I can see why somebody who takes Dungeons and Dragons very, very seriously would take umbrage with what they're doing, but not me.
I think it's always interesting to me because like at the same time, the people I feel like that there's people that take it really seriously, and then there's people that understand it really closely.
Yeah,
Because the reality is that the umbrella of Dungeons and Dragons will always be able to cater to all of the stories that exist to it,
yeah.
and so long as it honors the spirit of it, then it's probably like good. I don't know.
Yeah. I can understand wanting to, like, I kind of wish there was like a serious Dungeons and Dragons movie before they make the little silly comedies out of it and everything, but at the same time,
How do you
if
make
any
a serious Dungeons and
yeah,
Dragons movie?
that's the problem. Like you're asking them to make like a Lord of the Rings movie, which is just not, it isn't, it just everyone has their own take, especially with Dungeons and Dragons, having it be as open-ended of concept and franchise that it is. Everyone's going to have their own take, and so you're never going to make everyone happy by coming up with your own, what's effectively, this is them coming up with their own campaign for, and making, instead of playing it out as a game, they're just filming it as a movie. So I mean, like, it's I don't necessarily think it will end up being a great movie at the end of the day, but it does seem like it has the ability to be a cult classic at some point down the
Yeah, I mean,
road.
as long as it's an enjoyable movie,
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
that'll be good enough for me.
yeah. I'm not super into like high fantasy stuff, so making it a little more lighthearted will be more likely to get me into it. So,
Fair, agreed.
yeah. And I guess we can wrap up the news with what I consider to be Dali's, like, the best headline of the week. I'm going to share a tab here. Da, da,
Yeah.
da. Share. I'm gonna share that. Yeah, there's the Ubisoft and the terrible, no good,
Oh yeah,
very
that's
bad
right.
day. Uh, Things weren't going too particularly great with Ubisoft. Uh, the this week, they canceled 2 games and delayed their big game of the year. So, man,
I,
uh,
I'm waiting for somebody to get a big scoop on
what's going on?
what the F is happening
Yeah,
there, and also the fact that there is an implosion like
yeah.
happening or imminent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, as of right now, Ubisoft, depending on like how I feel or what my tongue is deciding to do this week. Uh their game this year is Mario Rabbids. Like,
Yeah,
they were going to have the Pandora game this year, or Avatar game this year, but they delayed it to, they say 2023, 2024. Um so I don't know what that means for that game. I don't know
yeah. I mean,
what that
I saw
says.
some comments saying that it was they were just declaring a fiscal year window
Yeah,
um, to it, which is certainly possible. But when you go from a current year release to a fiscal year release of next year's FY,
yeah.
it's not good.
And boy, you're really banking on the hope that this Avatar movie is as successful as the last Avatar movie, which, I mean, it will be. I don't give a rip about the Avatar movie, really, but like, it was a cultural phenomenon when it came out, and the closer we get to it, the more you're going to see this buzz around this movie increasing and whipping
Right.
everybody into a frenzy. So I don't think they have too much to worry about that, but they are also not releasing the game when the movie is coming out. So it's
But they
hope
also weren't before, so
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not like they're not losing that moment.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
Yeah.
when's that movie coming out?
It was coming, game was coming out. The game was coming out in November, and Avatar 2 is coming out before Christmas, December
Oh,
mid.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
no, never mind.
So
That's very bad.
yeah. Uh,
That's much closer than I thought originally, and that's not
yeah.
good.
So what you're I mean, I would hope that they really do just take it to 2024, because that's when 3 is supposed to come out.
Mm.
So maybe try to get a tie-in with 3 at that point, but uh, who knows? um, and I don't know. It's like, is the world thirsty for an Avatar game? Like, what are they going to do for
I
Avatar?
think
Like,
I think
it's
for a lot of this kind of stuff, people
yeah,
aren't thirsty for game tied to the X media property. They're
yeah,
tied for they're hungry for good game,
yeah,
and if it's tied to X media property, that
yeah,
might boost it.
yeah,
But licensed titles don't make successful game sales anymore. It feels like to me. Maybe I'm off base, but
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like, listen, you never want, especially with how how overworked the people are working on the Avatar video game. You never want a game to be like bad.
yeah, true.
So like I hope like it would be nice to have like a tie-in movie with maybe some, like, I don't know what the, like, if they're implementing any, it's Avatar, you should implement some sort of crazy tech into your fucking video game, but I just don't know if that's the case here. But um yeah, Avatar doesn't do anything for me, like, other than aesthetically.
Right.
So your game, that game is supposed, from what we've heard, is that it's genuinely a beautiful game. So that's
Yeah, there was Grub tweet a little bit on it, said that
yeah,
the game looks good
yeah,
and about nothing else.
yeah, yeah,
It doesn't really have much else going for it, which again,
yeah,
um, so many games can look and do look so good now.
yeah,
We showstop showstop pieces don't matter
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
PS, the PS3 and Xbox 360 era is kind of like we've seen significantly diminishing returns as things continue to go on how much better things continue to look.
yeah, yeah. So uh also on their little docket, they canceled Splinter Cell VR,
Yeah,
uh which
which is a pretty big one because they were going in on VR,
yeah,
you reportedly, um, and so to drop a VR game is kind of a big deal.
yeah, yeah. I, it seems so like, I, I don't know why, if the reason for dropping it is because an Ubisoft thing, or if it's a VR thing. Like,
Mm,
the VR market just has dried up. Like, I love VR stuff, and like my inbox for like, hey, want to play our VR game, is dead.
yeah,
Um
it's
it's
it's a
not
tough
there. Yeah.
it's a niche niche of a niche of a niche.
Yeah.
um, there's like
I'm hoping that,
three particularly successful VR games, like
yeah.
period.
Yeah. I'm hoping maybe the PSVR 2 will like at least give it like another wind of just like titles of,
Yeah,
for just in general for VR. But like, the experiment is done at this
yeah.
point. Like, a VR works. I think it's great. It's really it's fun. It's an enjoyable way of playing games. But I think the experiment's over. I think we've discovered that the mass market just doesn't give a rip about VR for gaming. I think the future of VR is strictly going to be metaverse stuff, and like just
Ugh.
applications, know,
Like
chat,
the
like,
least
yeah,
interesting version of
yeah,
it. Oh,
and like, yeah, VR chat is just going to end up being like the future of VR at the end of the
I will
day.
say
So,
though, of all the things, VR chat is actually one of the most
oh
interesting
yeah,
applications still.
yeah,
But for none of the reasons that grifters want it to be.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I talked about it on the show once when I tried out the Facebook Horizons or whatever the shit that
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
was, and just how like obnoxious everything is, and like you can just feel like at some point in the future I am going to enter this and it's going to be like busking and panhandling everywhere in this thing. People will be, because like you just walk close to somebody and you hear them, you hear music, but by like following it to like people like screaming and yelling at you and calling you things, and it's just it's going to be bad at some point, and there's no way you're going to be able to like police it. So yeah, especially if VR stuff starts getting cheaper and cheaper, which it will be. I mean, that's just
Yeah, I
natural.
feel like the price point on, especially on entry level stuff, is already
It's
so
super low. Like,
super low.
yeah. So
I was actually going to make a comment about like, maybe if Valve pulls, a Steam Deck version of it, with Steam Deck introing it at $3.99 was really aggressive.
yeah,
And maybe if they did the same thing with VR, but then I'm thinking
yeah,
it's like, what are they going to do? Release a $200 headset?
yeah, yeah,
You can already pick up, if you're willing to go used.
yeah. You can get
It's
a
not hard.
yeah,
It's not hard
yeah,
to come by one that's probably 200 or less.
yeah. Like, cause like the Quest 2's 250 or something most days
Yeah,
on a good day. So yeah, I always love going to Steam and seeing like the index as like a top seller every time you go there, because it's just like, well, it is $1,000. They
it's
just
just
have to
because it's
sell
so goddamn
yeah.
expensive.
All you sell 4 of them, and that's like a week's
Uh,
worth of shit.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's tough because I don't with without Valve would instead, if they wanted to put, and I don't think they really care.
No.
I think that they are happy to make index and they're happy to support it, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that if they wanted, they need, there's, the missing link is software, it's games.
Mm-hmm.
They made Half-Life Alyx. It is uh, one of those top 3 experiences
Yeah.
for VR games
Absolutely.
out there. And that,
I
what else?
I
What else do you want?
I would say pretty non-controversially that that is the best VR game you can play. Uh, it's perfectly crafted, and
It's so good.
even on like the Quest 2 running low settings, it is
Still is good.
it looks gorgeous still. There's lighting and everything still
Yeah,
on those
they
settings.
did.
It
They
is
did. They did some shader magic with
yes,
that video game.
they did. Yeah. So like it's like yeah, I mean like they won VR at the end of the day. Like and the third Ubisoft bit from that is that what was it? I always forget the franchise. Ghost Recon. Uh
They had a
yeah,
battle royale game, right?
yeah, it was Frontline. It was called Frontline. Um that was one of those games that was kind of responsible for YouTube taking away the dislike button, because it was just like, because it was in that time frame where everyone was just like mass disliking when they announced that game. They're just like, it's just Call of Duty Warzone, just dislike. It's like what it was like their most disliked video on the channel. The closed beta, I heard no good things coming out of the closed beta from it, and some footage leaked of it, and it was clearly just Call of Duty Warzone. Like it that's the game that if they were going to cancel something, is probably the smartest one to cancel.
It's
uh
weird because Ghost Recon has always pretty much universally existed in this weird pocket of
yeah,
not being the other big FPS games, and
yeah,
I feel like the only thing that they have left going for them is to lean into the things that made it unique,
yeah,
and not chasing, like, it's too late, dog. You can't.
yeah,
I don't know. They just
yeah,
keep chasing shit after everything is already peaked every single time.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, things like, and this year there's no Far Cry game this year. There's no Assassin's Creed this year. That's Skull and Bones, I think, is still coming this year, isn't it? Or is it early next year? I can't remember at this point.
Let's look it
Look
up.
it up. Look up.
Skull Bones. November.
Okay. So still Mario Rabbids 2 is the bigger game that they have coming out this year.
Mario Rabbids 2, does it outsell Skull and Bones?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, Mario Rabbids 1 sold incredibly well. And also this will be a game that
Not that we'll ever actually know, since Nintendo does not release any e-sale data. So
yeah, that's true. But this is a Ubisoft game, so maybe they were a little more open about Rabbids 1. It is
trust
the
me,
one.
after this negative press, if it sells well, we're gonna know about it.
We're gonna know about it
because they're gonna want every single investor to know how well it sold.
Yeah, and the first game is like the only Mario game you can get for $20. You know, like,
True.
So
very true. I'm actually almost surprised that Nintendo didn't like nix them on being able to drop the sale price.
It's like no, the Mario franchise is not worth a $20 bill. You did not get. But so yeah,
Ubisoft in rough spot. We're gonna. I think that we'll be hearing about them.
We will.
Over the next year.
Yeah, I don't think this news is over. This is part 1 of this news cycle for them. So stay tuned, I would say. Anything else that you can think of that we should talk about news-wise?
No, I think that we've probably already oversold the news.
Okay, yeah, we really stretched that out for 30 minutes. Look at us go. So, I mean, have you been playing anything? What are you playing? What are you doing?
Still on Factorio kick multiplayer mod, or not multiplayer mod. Multiplayer is built in, but modded multiplayer where we got this little scenario to kind of direct focus. Still good.
Hey!
Oh, we were just wrapping up.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Zach is being a slacker. Called out by his own family.
Yeah, I actually messaged him and he did not respond.
Did not respond after he specifically wanted Lisa. Let Zach know that we are extremely disappointed in him for not joining us tonight, because we had so much to talk to him about, including how to improve his automotive warranty. No, just kidding. How you guys doing?
We're doing fine.
We're good. We just finished up the news.
Oh, good.
Is there anything? Is there any opinions you have on any of the potential news cycle stuff? Ubisoft, anything?
Yeah, we spoke. You guys saw my article about Ubisoft, which is just, man, the no good, terrible.
Yeah, JJ pulled it up.
Oh, nice. Thank you, JJ. Yeah,
I pulled it up and everything. I'm a professional.
Oh, you are a professional. No, it is a complete mess. They are, I think they're struggling right now to figure out a focus for the company. And I think we even talked about it in the Discord that you really need that creative lead to kind of take over and at least govern the company side, the game dev side, the software side, to really have just a cohesive story. That's one thing that like Bethesda does really well. They have a lot of different projects all over the place, but they got Todd Howard, they got their folks to say, this is the direction for the company, and so Ubisoft doesn't have that.
Are you saying that Eve's just letting the ship float down?
I think so.
Wherever it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The ship's on fire, and he's hoping floating in the river will actually put it out. It ain't gonna put it out. It'll just sink.
Yeah. No, we were saying that we suspect that this is part 1.
Of bad news stuff, and we're gonna hear some more over the next 6 to 12 on.
Well, they have an event coming up in September, right? They have a couple events in September. They have a Assassin's Creed, like the future of Assassin's Creed thing in September, and then they have their Ubisoft Beyond, whatever that showcase is that's happening in September. So they're showing off stuff, but I don't know what anymore, right? Like what is
I wonder if they know.
Yeah,
They may not.
yeah. I'm sure there's. I mean,
They have more division to show
yeah,
us, guys.
Oh, boy.
like, yeah. There's gonna the Crew 3 finally happening.
Fucking
This time
I'm
it's this
going
time they're
to
gonna
literally
add,
continue to fall asleep.
yeah, but I mean, like, oh, there we
I'm
go.
looking for sticky notes. Sorry. Yeah.
What?
Keep going. I'm listening.
No, we were saying, which do you think sells better this year if they're two big titles, Rabbids or Skull and Bones?
Rabbids, for sure. Rabbids will sell better.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't know that. Maybe Skull and Bones comes out. It's a fucking hit.
It might be. It might, but I think it's just such a low. You know what? Skull and Bones might sell better only because it comes out in November, which means it'll be on discount in November, and then essentially on PS Plus in December. So and Game Pass. So maybe it will be. Yeah. In fact, I would not be surprised if it ends up on Game Pass.
Well, they've
launch.
got. I mean, they have that deal with.
Yeah. So then technically
Xbox
it
now,
would
so.
weirdly it would sell more, even though it's not. Who knows? Yeah.
Because what was the last? What was? I'm trying to think. Like the Tom Clancy Rainbow Six zombie ass game was like
Contagion,
launched.
right? Oh no, what,
Contagion
they changed the name from Contagion, didn't they?
Yeah.
Quarantine. It was Quarantine, then they changed
yeah.
to something else.
Yeah, it that's the that was like on Game Pass day one. Like you had to like link your Uplay account with your Xbox account.
Sure.
You got to download it day one. So yeah. Do the same thing with Skull and Bones.
Came and went, and nobody remembers it. That was in January of this year, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we were on to what we've been playing now, and Taylor was talking about his multiplayer adventures.
Yeah, so more Factorio as it continues.
Nice.
The factory continues to grow forever. The scale of that game is fucking bonkers. Where you go from like manually mining one ore, and now it's like 5,200 ore a minute is insufficient. But yeah, no. Bigger gaming endeavor this week has been Final Fantasy IX. Zach,
what?
Peer pressured me.
You are in the 9. Nice.
Yeah, so he peer pressured me into doing it. I've never played Final Fantasy IX.
So this is the remaster version, right? You're playing, I'm assuming, on like Steam Deck, PC type of thing.
Yeah, so this is the remaster version. I bought it on Steam. There was a sale somewhere, and I'm using the mod, the Moguri mod.
Right. Oh, what's that?
So the Moguri mod puts on it's like 30 FPS interpolated cutscenes, so they're smoother looking, because I think by default they're like 15, and they look real bad without the interpolation. And instead of they redid the up-resed AI background textures.
Oh, that's so important. Oh my gosh, yeah. Holy cow.
So
Holy
instead of the first pass where Square Enix was like, yeah, it's good enough.
It's good.
They redid it with a better trained AI, and then also did manual touch-ups on them so that they better reflect what the original art was meant to do. And then it has a bunch of sliders for... Hold on, let me... Actually, no, it won't like it if I try and launch it.
He was showing this in the Discord, I think, right? He was
Yeah, he posted a couple screenshots. Yeah, the launch menu is completely replaced. I'm seeing if I can find a screenshot of the launch options, but I can't. But it's fine.
Cool.
It goes stuff like faster battle speed,
sure.
Faster transition into the battle themselves, because by default it's like, good night, Lisa. Because it's like by default it's super long. But yeah, it's good. But highly recommend the mod. I figured out how to get the mod installed on Steam Deck as well, so that I wouldn't have to like have two different. I don't think my brain would adjust very well if I tried to do it between the two different ones. So I'm like 4 or 5 hours in, and it makes me realize that slow startup for Final Fantasy games is not a new problem that started with Final Fantasy
Yeah,
13.
no, you sure did not.
It is, man, it's always been there.
It's
I don't
majority of them. I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's most of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm 4 or 5 hours in. It's like, maybe we know what's happening now, but you still don't. I don't. It's good.
And you had never played this game?
I've never played Final Fantasy 9. I never had a PlayStation. I had a PlayStation 2, which is why I played and beat all of Final Fantasy 12.
And you never ended up picking up the original Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 to play on the
Nope.
PS2. Okay.
Nope. No, I never went back for PS1 games at all.
Okay. Excellent.
So
I like
that's
Final Fantasy
what I've been
9.
playing.
They got some. How far into it are you?
I said 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. I'm just trying to think. I wanted to.
I just met Sid.
Okay, just met Sid.
Okay, yeah.
Because my 4 or 5 hours probably different than your 4 or 5 hours. My 4 or 5 hours is essentially max out the characters till it becomes till grinding becomes absolutely atrocious to the with the amount of experience you gain in battle type of thing.
You were on like your you were on like your 15th go at the like sword fighting section in the play.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, that play.
Gross.
Running along rooftops. Very cool. Final Fantasy 9. Yeah, I hope you stay with it.
It's good. I know. I am. I'm gonna keep
characters.
I'm gonna keep plinking at it. It's all of the characters are intriguing, or at least entertaining, and like I want to care. What I find interesting is the Moogles in the game are where you save, which is similar to other Final Fantasies. But the letters that you like agree to bring between them is where you first figure out that there's like something else happening in the kind of like politically, or there's like something going on, because the Moogles are like, yeah, something's up, and then that is a nice little trickle of give me a reason to keep going and care. Because like I said, that all of your character
life in general, give me reason.
True. Yeah, talk to random cat things and deliver letters for them. But yeah, I think they could have sped up the drip of get to the game a little bit faster.
Yeah.
That's just
it does.
That's just me.
It was a refreshing game when it came out, because like the previous 2 Final Fantasies were pretty heavy. That's not to say 9 doesn't get real heavy, but like it was fun to have whimsy, sort of like that game starts off and stays pretty sort of mostly upbeat for a significant
it has a certain brevity to it, right? Like when the intro to the game is definitely light, where you're on an airship and you put on a play, there's fireworks and a band and all that kind of stuff. Granted, your best friend gets turned to stone like right away, so that was kind of fucked up. But I'm excited to actually get through it, because I'm not sure the last time I finished a JRPG. It was probably Xenoblade Chronicles 2, actually.
Excellent.
If we're calling that a JRPG. What about you, JJ?
I have been playing The Quarry.
Okay, I'm not surprised. That is your kind of game.
Yeah, Supermassive's new-ish horror story. It's play a little fast and loose with the idea of game with these.
It's pseudo interactive, novel-ish experience.
It really is sort of the natural progression of what old FMV games used to be, where it's just like eventually the game is going to ask you a question or ask you to move a joystick, and you do it. Your decisions are remembered. It is definitely a game that presents itself as a slasher film, like an 80s style slasher film set in modern times. You're a bunch of camp counselors on your last day of camp, just kind of doing the thing, and everything goes horribly wrong. And like any character, like based on your decisions and choices and stuff, can be killed. And so you're just kind of like trying to figure your shit out and either not get killed or maybe get these characters killed. Like it's up to you, really. You're the director of this movie. So far so good. It's definitely a niche title. If as far as I can tell, if you liked Until Dawn, you will definitely enjoy this because it's just a bigger Until Dawn. I don't know if I like the like dark picture anthology games more, which are basically the same thing as these but shorter. Like they're like instead of being $70 or whatever, they're like $40, and they just keep pumping them out. And like every handful of months, they put out a new dark pictures anthology game, and it's just like they have like, here's our Marvel style roadmap of all of the dark picture anthology games we've got coming out. But I just like all these kinds of like interactive horror adventures. They're fun for me, and I'm definitely excited to see where it goes next. I started playing Stray.
Oh,
okay.
The cat game that is very, very charming. I love just existing in this universe. It took me about 5 minutes to get the meowing trophy, so I feel like I beat the game. I know it's a very short game, and I'm about halfway through it, so I'll probably finish it up this weekend. But I mean, especially as like a PlayStation Plus title, absolutely perfect.
And this isn't even for like the highest tier. You can get it with like the second tier.
I think it's the mid tier, yeah, because the highest tier basically just adds like the vintage catalog.
Sure.
The mid tier has the game catalog, which is their game.
I'd be
pass.
almost interested in getting that one, to be honest, because that if there are now starting to be a level of amount of games that I've missed I don't want to buy. By the way, here's straight. That I don't want to necessarily buy just yet. That I think I wanna try, and so
well, it's because like they just added like all of the Assassin's Creed games like that are playable on the PS5. They added Guardians of the Galaxy. They added the Final Fantasy VII remake. Like they're actually like adding stuff to it now. So
now I've heard this game has a little bit of an Ico feel to it, based off of how you sort of traverse the world and what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. It's just you definitely feel like a cat. Like you're just kind of like jumping onto ledges that maybe you shouldn't be able to fit on, but there you are. You find a rug, you can just start making biscuits on the rug. You just
poop everywhere, man. Have you seen the mods where you people are putting like Garfield and Heathcliff?
Yeah.
I do like the, instead of the meow button, it becomes just you yelling Jason.
Yeah,
that's a great one. Jason.
Great.
I really want to play this game. This is Annapurna's most successful game, like at launch for purchase.
Wow.
So good for
Stray.
them.
Yeah, I mean, Stray had managed to pick up a lot more
word of mouth.
Word of mouth pre-launch.
Yeah.
Tailwinds behind, coming behind it than a lot of the other games.
And a lot of their other games are definitely more like a little. There takes some more time to explain a lot of their other games. The idea of you are cat. Everyone love cat.
You are cat.
Yeah, everyone love cat. Be cat, and that's an easy sell for a lot of people. So
it's just tough when Annapurna also published one of the best games of the last decade, if not the best. So
Yeah.
You know,
It's fair.
Outer Wilds was,
Yeah.
you know, I want to play as a cat, but it hurts at the same time because you're like, man, Outer Wilds didn't do that well, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I can't. I can't talk about the review code you gave me yet.
Okay.
That goes
That's
up.
fine.
That goes up in a couple of days. That embargo. And Livealive. I started
Yeah.
playing. I've never played that game before. I mean, obviously it wasn't in America, but that didn't really stop me from playing Mother 3. So there were ways around that. I just never got around to it. So boy, this game is definitely doing it for me right now.
I'm also playing this game. This will be the game that I talk about for my
All right.
portion here.
You know what? How about you start talking about it and I
Okay.
just chime in?
So I started with the demo, and I started playing. I think it was like Imperial China.
I started with prehistory.
Okay, prehistory, cool. So I did the Imperial China in the demo, and I continued that in the kind of mainline version. I kind of dabbled in the other ones a little bit in the demo, but it definitely reminds me of a game that Taylor definitely loved hearing about for a year and a half, which is Octopath Traveler. And just the fact that there are so many characters within this that you're kind of juggling, kind of not. But it's much more cohesive of a narrative, in a way, I guess.
The characters don't have like the effect isn't the same like an Octopath Traveler that the characters have on like other parts of the stories and stuff.
I do like the fighting, sort of the battles in this game.
Yeah.
In how they take place. You know, Octopath Traveler, very much just a traditional-ish, a very traditional turn-based game, right? In this, you're actually kind of moving the pieces around a board,
Yeah.
Placing characters and attacking that way. It's still sort of turn-based, it's like a weird turn-based action mix and like strategy thrown in there too. And each of the characters, each of these timelines, I should say, this is the Western version, the Wild West, has their own kind of spin on some of the aspects of the battles.
Yeah.
But I'm digging this game. It came out so late in the lifespan of the Super NES. That's why it didn't come to the US, I believe, was one of the main reasons, because they thought, okay, well, we're already starting to move now towards PlayStation, and you know, Final Fantasy VI, I think, had just come out. But at the time, the visuals and sort of the styles of this game were seen as, the Western audiences aren't going to love it as much, so let's just stick to the Final Fantasies. And that's why Dragon Quest never came over either. But I'm digging it. It's doing it for me. I'm really only a few hours into this game, maybe like 5 or 6 hours in, and I'm juggling between this and Xenoblade 2. But God, I just love the character. I love the characters. Love the characters.
I like. So I'm playing. I've just started it, and I'm playing through the prehistory, and I love. So the prehistory doesn't have dialogue, which is really so. Like when you talk to characters, you kind of get pictographs and stuff. Like,
oh wow.
So like when you talk to somebody, it's not a text box, like a voice, a bubble, speech bubble will come up, but it'll be a picture. It will be like a stick, or like a flower, or like another, like meat. Like, so to say you need to go hunting, like you talk to a character and it shows meat coming up in the little speech bubble to tell you that, oh, I have to go hunting. So yeah, there's no dialogue, and your character has like a sniff ability to like, he has a heightened sense of smell. So it's like you sniff around and you see like scent clouds, and you go into the scent cloud, and you're tracking like things going on and stuff. It's a really cool, like,
it really is,
like, mechanic that doesn't like come into play in like the near future, the distant future or something. It's I can't wait to like just see how
that robot
I can't wait to see how each like scenario uses the mechanics just a little differently, but the same, but not, like it's.
And you can really see how this obviously, this impacted Octopath Traveler to the point where they essentially listed, the director and creator of this game in the credits of that. But this also influenced Undertale. It influenced little bits of there's a lot of PlayStation 1 games that this influenced. It has the roots for so many other games that kind of bought off on the idea of this sort of non-linear turn-based experience. I think it's really cool. I'm excited to get more into it. I'm sure we'll talk about it again. I know Zach's been playing it too, so I'm sure a few of us will talk more about it in the coming weeks. But I'm digging it. I like it so far.
Yeah,
I think it's the HD 2D style. I love it. Put it on take every old game and make it HD 2D. Like forget the pixel remasters, just make them HD 2D games. I think that works.
Yeah.
What's weird is it's bizarre to me that they're not.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's all Square Enix, man. Why not use it?
I bet you that there are folks within Square Enix right now saying, "Listen, we have this Octopath Traveler. They have like 2 or 3 Octopath Traveler games that are using it. They have the Dragon Quest 3 game coming out, and there's probably folks going, we can go back and start doing older Final Fantasies. Chrono Trigger. I almost guarantee you Chrono Trigger's coming. That's the Chrono Trigger remake is going to be HD 2D, which is perfect. That's the only remake you.
It's gonna look. Yeah, the Chrono Trigger is gonna look like this game.
Yep.
Like
Triangles. Yeah. Triangle Strategy, which came out earlier this year and people forgot, is a phenomenal strategy game that tops Final Fantasy Tactics in every respect. Storyline. It's got the only issue is it got a little bit of a slower build up, but such an awesome game, and that's HD 2D as well. So you can really see how this can work across all of Square's kind of legacy content. Yeah, they've got to put the pixel remasters, the old Final Fantasies in this format, because that would make them like Final Fantasy 1. It's not a good game. If you go back and play it now, you're like, oh, these mechanics are horrible.
I've never finished that game. I always have the best ambitions.
I finished it twice, but not recently. I will say the one that I did finish was there was like the 16-bit remake for the GBA. I think that was the Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2, which you can't really find anywhere. No one's putting it out, but give me the classic games. Use this style, and let's go from there. Cool, Livealive. Well, I will also mention Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm still plowing through it. I've got another a few more hours into that game. I want to complete that before Xenoblade 3. So I'm not touching Xenoblade 3 till I finish Xenoblade 2. But now I got the Livealive curveball that was thrown at me. So I got to finish that sucker. And the Fire Emblem 3 Hopes Warriors game. Started that. Surprisingly good. Maybe the best Warriors game next to... I haven't tried the Persona ones, but from everything else I've been reading, it's got basically the best. They're all bad, but it's a popcorn...
Yeah,
you know exactly what you're getting.
The worst.
Warriors
it's bad popcorn.
It's what you're getting. Like I will play that Zelda game, the Age of Calamity, because it's just stupid. Just go around. It's arcade. It's an arcade game in 3D on my consoles. Really, just beat up as many characters as you can.
I kind of
I'll talk
wish
more about that when I get.
I kind of wish it was more like an arcade game, though. Like,
maybe that's another spin they could take. Sure.
Like, let me just beat my way through this fucking hordes of enemies to get to the end of a stage, and then just keep working my way through, instead of just having it be like this like boss rush kind of, like horde rush kind of thing, where it's just like, here's the next wave and the next wave, and then it's like I
get it.
Yeah, I get it. Just
let's see. And then really the last thing I was playing was so I had a garage sale this week, which meant I didn't get a chance to play a lot of games during the garage sale. Here I thought, I would just sit behind my, sit in a chair in my garage, and whenever somebody came in, I could put my Switch down and then go back to playing it afterwards. But it was really, really fast and furious. And so not that I made a lot of money, but just that people were always coming in and I had to tend to them. I didn't want to seem like a slacker playing Xenoblade. So I decided to go through the catalog of all these free and 99-cent games that I had purchased. You know, the one thing that the Switch does really well is that the eShop lets people do these weird like chain purchases things. So if you own one game,
Yeah.
and then you download the next one in the chain like the next day for free, which unlocks the ability to download the next one for free the next day, which unlocks the ability. If you miss any day, you got to buy the one before it, and then you can continue. It's great for the publisher because it gets their games to the top of the eShop charts very quickly because people are constantly buying the game, downloading the games, and then if you miss it, then the game goes back to being like the $3.99, $4.99, whatever. But now it's at the top of the charts because they've given it away for free. Anyway, so I had a bunch of those games saved on my hard drive, taking up space. And I said, you know what? I'm going to play these in between customers that are coming in. And they're not good. There are so many of these games that are yes, I know, a 99-cent game, a game that's given away for free. If you have another game given away for free, so your quality level's already pretty low. But the majority of these have been basically like demos. Like here is a technical demo for an idea for a game made by a developer who's either a first-time developer or just kind of grabbing Unity assets and throwing them together and saying, what if I did it overhead and I put walls here and pump it out as a game? Feels like that in almost every case. Absolutely nothing stuck out at me, but I do think it's still an awesome idea that folks can do something like this on a gaming device, whether Switch, whether it's Steam Deck or whatever. And I think it's cool. It gets notoriety. And I mean, this is how developers can build up a cachet. You could legit say my game was ranked at the top of the eShop charts on July 7th, in July 2022, because it was given away for free. And that does mean something in the long run. And you learn from that kind of stuff. But anyways, so what I did was I spent time during the garage sale going through all these games that I had downloaded. I think about 30 of them I had downloaded of these free and 99-cent games and like 7-cent games or whatever the cheap price was. So that's why at the end of the year, when we're comparing how many Switch games we've played, I think last year I had like 180 Switch games I had played. This is why, because it's all these dinky little free games, but it's almost like a Steam Next Fest. You're just kind of trying stuff, and then you keep an eye on a developer. Maybe they'll come up with something cool later on. So yeah, kudos to the game companies that enroll in this type of stuff, because it gets your game out there, and it will be deleted immediately off my Switch after turning it on one time, saying, "Yep, this game's no good. Delete." But guess what? Now I have you got a little tick mark from me that somebody had downloaded your game. So that's it. That's what I've been playing this week. I did want to ask though, did you guys talk about Comic-Con?
No, I was kind of.
We thought about whether or not we were going to mention it, but
we figured if you were coming, it would probably be best to wait for you to be.
Well, let's briefly talk Comic-Con. We're already at a 1 hour of the show. I was JJ. It's exactly as you and I had foretold. You led off with the Secret War stuff. I was heavy into it. We had fan theories, and it's everything that you and I had like been talking, even to the point with like Captain America 4, Captain America with the how that's definitely going to be leading into the Secret War stuff, which is really interesting. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Let's do a super quick recap for people that are maybe just finding out for the first time, and also because I haven't posted the article yet. San Diego Comic-Con returned. Marvel returned to Hall H, which is the infamous hall for all of the big studios to do all of the releases. Mm-hmm. And Marvel has notoriously done pretty big showings at there. There was a lot of speculation if they were going to do it this year or at San Diego Comic-Con or D23, but because this is sort of the big return to Comic-Con, I sort of suspected they were gonna. I still think we'll see some stuff we'll see the actors,
I think D23 is going to be more footage and TV based because we don't know.
Okay.
We know 4 things coming in phase 6.
Mm-hmm.
But we
They
only
have
know. But
Phase 4 ends with Black Panther. Bunch of
Wakanda
stuff
Forever,
in phase. Yep. And phase 5, there's a bunch of stuff. And phase 6 really only has 3 things in it right now.
It has 2 Avengers movies. It has it has 2 Avengers movies, and Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what we know.
Yep.
It would be safe to assume based on phase 5, which has a bunch of stuff like, okay, so it has like Blade is coming out in November of next year, the Thunderbolts, which people that don't know the Thunderbolts is basically Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. It is villains.
All right, you guys ready? This is my theory. Thunderbolts is where we really get a lot of Deadpool shit. I think Deadpool is going to be in the Thunderbolts.
It very well could be. It wouldn't surprise me. But like, it's a kind of a bummer that John Hurt died, because I mean, because it's a perfect, like, it's his team, like, kind of thing. I mean, you don't get the red, Thunderbolt Ross as the Red Hulk, which is also a bummer, but they've already been in the background setting up the Thunderbolts with Elaine Bennis going around collecting like Petrova and U.S. Agent.
William Hurt, not John Hurt.
William Hurt. John Hurt's a different actor. William Hurt. But so you're already starting to do that. You're already starting to put that together. Blade has already made his debut in the MCU because he appeared in the post credits of the Eternals, which is sort of vaguely setting up a sort of Midnight Suns-ish team in a way, because it's kind of him going with Black Knight, which is kind of weird. You got Agatha's TV series, which is interesting. I don't know what that's going to be. There's not really much.
Was it Covenant of Chaos or something?
Yeah, something like that. There's not much of a precedent for Agatha being like a standalone character in the comics, so it's kind of interesting what that's going to be. You got Quantum Mania, which they announced. It's going to have MODOK in it, which is
wild. And it has Bill Murray in it.
It has Bill Murray in it. Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 had a trailer run at San Diego Comic-Con. Haven't found any leaked footage of it yet. I did find one scene of leaked footage of young baby Rocket Raccoon.
Yes, they talked about Rocket. Yeah.
So, and the main villain of that is going to be, they're going to have Adam Warlock in it, and they're going to have High Evolutionary, which is a very interesting villain to choose for Guardians of the Galaxy in particular. High Evolutionary started off as a Thor villain. Kind of becomes more like a general villain for like a lot of like, particularly like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, because he is born of like Nathaniel Essex, which is Mr. Sinister. So there's that whole fucking thing. So there is a mutant connection to the High Evolutionary. And you have, the 2 Avengers movies. You have the Infinity War / Endgame Part 1 and 2 kind of thing, where you have
all within the same year, apparently May and June. I'm sorry, May and November.
And so you have, the first one is
You're Kang. Ready to tell.
The Kang. The Kang Dynasty. So Kang's already had his debut in the MCU in Loki. As He Who Remains, and is going to be the major villain of Ant-Man 3 Quantumania. And is, I mean, in terms of, they've rebranded this set of movies as the Multiverse Saga. And Kang is like the multiversal enemy. So, of course, he's the big bad of all of this. So, what the Kang Dynasty will be, I doubt it's going to be, I think it's just a good name. I don't think it will be like the Kang Dynasty comic from Basic, but it could be for all I know.
I mean, again, it was the Kang Dynasty comic was like what, 13 or it's like a 15, 16 episode or issue.
Where
Kang essentially takes over Earth.
Yeah.
A very authoritarian type of way that he does it too.
Yeah, he's the first Marvel villain to ever successfully actually take over the planet without like mind control, I think is what was the big selling point of that comic book.
Yeah.
And you also have then the other Avengers movie is officially Secret Wars.
Yes.
Which
so excited.
Which obviously me and Dali have talked about it before. We're pretty sure it's going to be 2015 Secret Wars.
Yeah.
It's a perfect excuse to
But maybe some aspects of the original,
Maybe, but it's a perfect opportunity to introduce characters and hit the reset button. So
which is what I think Marvel needs, because I think it is all right. Theory. This is where you and I talked about this, and after yesterday's news, I think this may confirm some of our suspicions. There's no spoiler warning for this. Read the comics or do a Google search. Secret Wars starts off with, it wasn't Kang, it was somebody else that the original Secret Wars. It was what was the dude's name? Shoot, I'm staring at the comic right here.
But the villain of the original, the Beyonder?
The villain, it was Beyonder. Thank you. It was the Beyonder who takes all the all of the heroes and villains, puts them together, and makes this like actually a deeply. It focuses on their personal issues and inhibitions, that kind of stuff. However, throwing Kang into this throws that curveball of Kang sort of taking over for the Beyonder, right? He's the multiversal enemy now. So he's going to be this ultimate villain that comes over, takes over Earth, or is trying to take over Earth, or maybe in this case, the universe or the multiverse. That might be a little more apt that he's trying to take over the entire multiverse.
Yeah.
Which kind of seems okay.
And you have him making the proclamation in Loki about how like each one of them is worse than the last, like
which I think is so cool. It's so cool. Happening before those two films is Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
If you know anything about Secret Wars, Doctor Doom plays a massive part in the Secret Wars saga. Both of them, really, to the point where I think the reason Fantastic Four is coming before this is because you're going to get Doom to play a very similar part in these next two Avengers.
And for anyone, I mean, I feel like also one of the important factors to Kang is the fact that he is a Richards.
He's a Richards. He's a complete dick. Exactly.
Yeah,
he's a Richards.
he's a child, a descendant of Reed Richards.
So it's so cool, man. Woo!
So and what's going on, like I said, we don't know what's happening between Fantastic Four and that all those movies aren't announced yet. It makes sense that the next Spider-Man movie will be in that phase.
They haven't announced it because it's a Sony property technically, so they're not saying anything about that.
The Mutants will be in there somewhere.
The Mutants, is that the supposed leak?
That has been the rumored leaked title for like 2 years now. And it's playing on the fact that when they first introduced the X-Men comics, that was the original title. Before it became the X-Men, they were planning on calling it the Mutants, but then they changed it. That's why New Mutants is called the New Mutants, because it's the same. So the rumor is that it's going to be called the Mutants, which is going to piss off some people, but whatever. It makes it a little more open-ended and not just tie it down to.
And then you can have an actual X-Men movie come in to kind of tie that together.
I would assume Doctor Strange gets in there somewhere again by that point. So
it is interesting because these are the confirmed movies. There are still other films and appearances that could pop in. Like, again, we mentioned Thunderbolts, but there could still be a Deadpool movie that comes in. There could still be a Spider-Man movie that comes in. So there are still things that could wedge in there.
I definitely want there to be like, I wish there was like a Deadpool's Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Which is like, which there was because there was a crossover comic book series that came with the Secret Wars of 2015 that showed Deadpool was involved in the 1984 Secret Wars.
Yeah, it's so
just
great.
kind of like in the background, but like it's a good idea. There's a lot of fun to have. I also am 100% dead certain that Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. are going to be in the Secret Wars movie. Like, there's no way they're not. It's not. It's Secret Wars is probably going to be every bit as big. It's going to have non-MCU characters in it. It's going to have.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
What? Just because of the multiverse aspect?
Yeah, it's the Secret Wars. I mean, that was the thing about the Secret. If you're that comes with a lot of weight, calling it the Secret Wars, and I don't think it's by accident. And the 2015 Secret Wars, its whole thing was smashing the multiverse together. That they would have side stories where it was like, oh, it's like Thor and like in fucking like the like. You know, with Devil Dinosaur or whatever, you know, it was just like crazy shit going on.
And
Savage
to be honest,
Land. Yeah.
What's interesting about Secret Wars, you say that now, is remember Disney has a lot of properties that are not Marvel MCU that could fit. Like you could legit say something like, maybe you could sneak in a Star Wars reference. Maybe you could maybe there's a little Pixar. I mean, there are things that Disney could do with their properties to really kind of focus on this multiverse aspect. Maybe they work with DC because, you know, there's actually the DC, you know, well, when they buy DC, it'll happen.
Yeah. If anything, you'll get like, if anything, you'll get like Big Hero 6 in there or something.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's
But yeah, that movie. But also, we didn't mention it at all. But they did announce Daredevil: Born Again.
Yes.
Fucking 18 episode.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Charlie Cox is back. Vincent D'Onofrio's back. Hell yeah! Sign me the fuck up. 18 episodes, probably too much. But just like I said with Secret Wars just a couple of minutes ago, you don't use that title lightly.
Nope.
If you're going to call it, if you're going to directly call something what you've called it in the comics, you have to, like, the Civil War movie is really kind of better than the Civil War comics in a lot of ways. Age of Ultron's kind of a push. But neither of them are particularly great. But I don't think you use Born Again, which is one of the absolute best comic book storylines of all time.
Ooh. Purchasing now.
Yeah, you don't use that title without knowing what you're doing. So I have high hopes that that's going to be, in terms of.
What did you just unwrap, Taylor? You just unwrapped
I didn't think it would come through.
Oh, now you're making me hungry.
It's coming through loud.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Continue. Sorry, JJ.
No, it's I have 100% hopes or high expectations from using that title, but I also kind of think that they'll have a good story to go with it.
I'm glad that Marvel really realizes let's find our best content to turn into MCU stuff. I think they realize that they understand that this could be finite. Like you're going to get to a point of saturation of Marvel.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy to think, but
I know.
So they're saying right now, just let it all get out. Just put all the coolest stuff out there right now, all the best storylines. Let's adapt them and make them into something, and then figure out if there's space left over. Right.
Yeah. As a kid growing up and just being infatuated with comic books and being such a massive fan of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline.
Yeah, me too. That was my favorite one initially.
Yeah,
Dark Phoenix Saga, then Infinity Gauntlet.
Dark Phoenix. Yeah, it's no part of me ever thought that, like, when you watch the movies coming out, especially when the movies started rolling out, and it's like the X-Men and how grounded everything was and how successful the Batman stuff was. and how, Iron Man came out and stuff. No part of me thought for a minute that it would lead to the Infinity Gauntlet being told as a story.
Oh, man.
But the fact that they just leaned all into it, and except with open arms that that part of the comic book universe makes me happy. Like that, because like it's hard to get people in on cosmic Marvel.
Yeah, it is. It's been difficult. Yeah,
it's but like they figured it out. They cracked the code. It helps that Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was such a well-written and enjoyable sort of little movie that it let people it let people accept that, you know what, shit can be weird and lighthearted, and like in a lot of ways nonsensical for that stuff, because the Infinity Gauntlet's kind of a nonsensical story even in the comics. It's this guy is collecting these random stones that lets him have anything he wants in the universe. Yeah, okay, whatever, do it. To the point now where we're getting Secret Wars, like it's Secret Invasion. I can't wait to see what their idea of Secret Invasion is. Like,
yeah, I can't wait. That's
because it's a 0% chance that you can do the comic book version of Secret Invasion. And I'm very interested to see how that plays out for them, because it's a TV series, what implications that could possibly have, because there are some wild implications you can make to the overall universe of perhaps even characters being dead,
like who are currently dead.
Who are currently dead. Like you can change a lot of that stuff. Or
it's a great retconning. It's a great retconning.
It's a retcon tool, yeah. So anything, Secret Wars can set up a lot of crazy shit if they're like, and also if they're like trying to work on some contract shit right now, like they can really play around with it with Secret Invasion. So yeah, I'm
excited.
I said in one of my group chats the other day, it's like I'm not a big fan that I have to live to be 40 to see Secret Wars, but here we are.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm not a fan. I have to live to be 45 to be. But yeah, it's cool. I'm really excited. I think that now that it's finally been laid out, like phase 4 was sort of all over the place for folks because they didn't really understand where things were heading. Phase 1 didn't even really happen until they brought everybody out on the stage as the Avengers. After the first initial set of movies came out, and they said, guess what? They're all coming together in the first Avengers movie next year. Get ready. And so I think that's the point that we're at with phase 4 was sort of all over the place, character build up, and now we're going to get to real meat, phase 5.
I also think with phase 4 is that it's not going to seem cohesive until it's all said and done. Because you can see the direction everything was. Because everything was a couple of different things going on. Like everything sort of touches on the multiverse in its own little way, with the exception of Thor, really. But I feel like Thor is going to
Thor 5 is going to be coming out, and we know it's going to be happening. We know it's. I'm not going to spoil it, but Thor 4 ends with a big teaser for Thor 5. Which how will that play into a lot of this stuff? And
like I said, so they've been setting up the multiverse in like every other movie. They've been setting up the Thunderbolts in every other thing, and they've been setting up Young Avengers and everything. Those are the three things they've been setting up. They've announced Thunderbolts. They've announced that this is called the Multiverse Saga, and they haven't announced that they're even working on a Young Avengers movie or series or whatever. But they've introduced Riri was in Ironheart was in the Wakanda Forever trailer. You have
and she has her own show, right? Exactly.
I forget the kid's name, but he was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The grand kid he plays. You have you introduced Hulkling and Wiccan and Speedster. You've introduced the poster for Quantumania has Cassie in in an Ant-Man suit. You have the Young Avengers, like they exist as in varying stages of being superheroes as we speak. So I mean,
I
Young
think it's gonna
Avengers.
be, I think that'll be a. I think the reason they're holding off on that is they're probably trying to decide if that'll be series or feature film. I think, or a Disney Plus feature film, which could also take place. But anyways, a lot of Disney stuff, a lot of STC stuff. I just wanted to talk Marvel because I think we were just losing it in our Discord with all the announcements, and I saw Twitter was
Dude,
like the most positive.
I went to bed. I went to bed early last night. And then I usually check Discord when I wake up in the morning, just see what my friends have been up to. It took me like 15 minutes to read through everything to read through everything that had popped up since I had gone to bed in that channel.
Marvel really put on a show. Yeah, enough of us were just happy to see see direction. Right.
Oh, and the Wakanda Forever did confirm Namor. So
yes, which I think was finally we can stop talking about the leaks that we saw well ahead of time.
DC announced virtually nothing. They're kind of
they didn't announce any more of Flash.
Yeah,
DC is in the Ubisoft mode right now.
Yeah, they got screwed. They got they just basically have 2 French movies coming out right now. You have Shazam and Black Adam, and everything else is just kind of in flux right now. So
Aquaman 2, no idea what's happening with that. Wonder Woman, even though that's like been filmed or it's in the process, whatever. Wonder
They're trying
Woman
to figure
3.
Because Wonder Woman 2 both performed poorly because it didn't get a theatrical release and was also sort of poorly received in general. Who knows what the future of Wonder Woman holds at this point. It's a bummer, man. I mean, we do know we're getting the Batman 2, like that's happening.
Yeah, we know that. We know Joker 2, but
Joker 2.
They're not related. They're not related.
Yeah, but who knows what the DCEU itself is just in a bad shape, and
just give me more Peacemaker. All I wanted them to hear was them say Peacemaker season 2 is on the way. That's it. That's all you had to say, and I would have been happy.
I think you would have made the audience go absolutely apeshit if you played Wigwam. Like, do you really want to taste it? Started blaring over the speakers, and John Cena comes out on stage. Like, the crowd would have
perfect.
Yeah, but
SDCC. We'll be talking more about stuff like that as we always do. But hey, I hijacked this podcast.
Yeah,
I ripped the tablecloth from underneath JJ's dinner. As he was just about to stick the fork in, and I just ripped it out and it took over.
Yeah, actually, so what I opened earlier was a fortune cookie. We had Chinese food tonight. And I actually found the fortune was quite profound. Determination will get you through this, and it did. And here we are. I made it to the other side of that conversation.
Nice.
And so now it's time to wrap the show.
Powered through. It's like me whenever you guys talk PC specs. I'm like, I'm gonna pretend to listen. Anyways, JJ, thanks for kicking us off as usual. _J.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taylor at Taylor Bliss.
The same.
Zach. Okay, Quest. Thank you, Zach. Yeah. Oh no, thank you. No, thank you. And then myself at Dali DeMoss, you can find me there. No, Zach, it's okay. It's all right. You just it's okay. No, you don't have to keep coming. Okay,
no, you don't eat the poop, Zach.
You don't eat the poop. Relax.
Jeez, every time.
I know you're playing Stray, but relax. With that, you can find us at sidequesting.com, at sidequesting.
We didn't even talk about the most important news article of the day. We are featured in an advertisement for Devil.
Yes. Demon Throttle.
Yeah.
Definitely blew our minds. We are featured in a freaking Amazon, Best Buy advertising material for a game as our logo for our stupidly made, like, hey, I have 14 minutes in between bathroom trips or whatever. The award is bigger than the screen capture than like the screen images of the game. It's so pretty freaking awesome. That was
So
with Tom. Yeah, Tom saw that game at PAX East. I think we had talked about it a couple times. It is a physical only game, so not digital, which is fantastic, just stupidly awesome.
Yeah.
Coming to Switch. You can
next week.
Next week. Yep. Yeah. So definitely check all that out. But yeah, that was really cool. I saw it. I see. Was it you that or Sam posted it first?
Sam. It was Sam.
And then we all it was wild seeing each of us one by one go, holy shit. And then 2 minutes later, holy shit, holy fuck, holy shit. And it just gets exponentially grew to becoming. It was just so cool to see that happen. So yeah, I mean, that's why I love writing and hanging out with you guys and talking about games. And that's hey, it's just cool. Something we liked and appreciated was respected. Our appreciation for something was respected rather than, all 6 people who listen to this podcast don't appreciate us enough to share this podcast with their family and friends. At least marketing and PR appreciate us. With that said, again, thank you, everybody. SideQuesting TV on Twitch, SideQuesting on YouTube. We'll see you on the next episode of the Side Quest. Bye-bye. I'm going to do the rainbow style, which is... Oh, no, this is the sprinkler.
Sprinkler. Yeah. I'm doing the sunset.